And I'm going to go quickly because I know it's the weekend where you are and certainly where I am. I wanted to start out today. It was something that I felt was very important. I was looking back on my 6 weeks since I started Gladiacoin, and I was thinking, what is it that I really brought to the table? Because it wasn't a lot of money. I got to tell you, I only started with 1 Bitcoin, and I had to really pull my funds together. I just gone through a, somewhat of a disaster with another company, and it left me just, thousands of dollars in credit card debt. I was living on my cards for like the last 3 months. And so I was thinking, the most important element that I brought to this was my mindset. It was an attitude of like, look, I'm going to do this regardless of what other people say. I feel like this is right for me. I understand a little bit about Bitcoin and where it's going. I've kept on top of it for a number of years, even though I haven't really done anything with it until now. It was certainly part of my awareness, and I was watching it grow. I was like rooting for it, right? In a sense. I mean, it's an underdog currency that came out of nowhere 8 years ago, and now look where it is. And I think really the only thing that I brought was just I had the right attitude. People told me it was a Ponzi scheme. People said, well, because I don't know who the owners are, I'm not going to join. I mean, I heard all the negative excuses for people that didn't want to join. And I wasn't going to let that energy come into my space because I was determined to make this work regardless. And it was just a matter of finding people. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Ponzi part of it at the end of this training. I'll kind of say that for last because I've given this actually a lot of thought. And so, of the mindset, you basically have 2 types of mindsets coming into this. And one is a growth mindset. And, that means it's, simply failure is an opportunity to grow, never give up. And, I think many of you who have been involved in other companies and watch it disappear and the effort that you put into it, you feel bad, not just for yourself, but the other people that you tried to attract. And in a sense, you might have a feeling of guilt, but let me tell you something. It didn't just happen for you, it happened for everybody, right? So, if you look at that growth mindset versus the other mindset, which is a fixed mindset, that means that they've already made up their mind that no matter what you say, nothing is going to penetrate their space. And these are the people that I can pretty much feel out in about, 10 seconds, and then I'm on to the next person because I'm not going to let them steal from me and my family, what I have put into this and the joy that I'm getting out of it. So, the fixed mindset is, either I'm good at it or I'm not. My abilities are unchanging. Either I can do it. I don't like to be challenged. I mean, you're going to be able to tell somebody's mindset immediately. And I think that if you can just find like-minded people to this opportunity, the better that you're going to grow. So the reason I'm starting this out today is I want to give you some tools because I think it's really important that you have the facts because there's a lot of people that think they know about Bitcoin, but when you ask them, well, what is it? They can't even explain it to you. So the thing is that by getting the facts for yourself, it gives you a lot of strength and conviction when you're talking to people because it's not just about the Gladiacoin opportunity. Gladiacoin is just a platform that's going to enable us to accumulate Bitcoin. But like I say in every one of my presentations, you do not need Gladiacoin to buy Bitcoin. You don't need it to buy any one of the 710 currencies that are available on the market. But let me tell you something, you need to understand exactly what we have. And so there's some really good books that are somewhat simple to understand. I'm not going to say that it's Bitcoin for dummies, okay? But if you read about this, you're going to understand, and it's just going to become clear to you exactly what Bitcoin is all about. The book that I just finished, which I absolutely love, is the Book of Satoshi. It is pretty much the mindset of what the reason that he created this blockchain technology and named it Bitcoin. I mean, to me, he's just an absolute genius, or she, or a group of individuals, whoever it is. And isn't it interesting that here is Bitcoin that has a market cap of $25 billion and is growing. It's probably over 30 billion right now as we speak because it's growing so much. And to this day, they have never stepped forward to identify themselves that said, I'm the person who created this blockchain technology. I mean, he wrote the code, ladies and gentlemen, and he gave it away. He didn't sell it to Bill Gates and go knocking on his door or to Intel or to any government. He said, I want to create something for the people. He wrote the software. He figured out the technology for this by himself, tested it out. I mean, this guy or person is an absolute genius and will go down in history as one of the greatest inventors of the 21st century, and yet nobody knows who this person is. Now I'm thinking, why would he want or she want to be unknown? when you've got one of the best success stories in the world? Think about that just for a second. I mean, I've given it some thought, and I can't be in the mind of Satoshi, but I can tell you what I'm thinking anyway. I'm thinking, if this person came out, he's going to have a bullseye on his back. They're going to investigate everything there is to know about this guy and his background. And you know how the public scrutiny is right now. And what would be a good idea could potentially turn into just a horror storm of bad press. And I'm thinking, this guy chose to remain anonymous. And yet, by the same token, they're pretty wise too, because the first million Bitcoins were owned by Satoshi. He minted 1 million for himself, even when they were valueless at the time. But now this person or group of people are multi-billionaires, hands over, with more to come. And I'm sure that they're sitting someplace. Maybe they'd be on this call today. Who knows? Wouldn't that be nice, right? But, you know, here they are thinking about, you know, what they have been able to invent and create and have some satisfaction that they made a footprint and a difference in the world. I highly recommend this book. It is the collective writings of the creator of Satoshi. And the last known public email that they wrote was back in 2012. So you can pick this up on at Amazon for the Kindle version. It is just absolutely fabulous. So the book is Satoshi. I am recording the training today, so if you're not taking notes, you'll be able to refer back to this. The second book that I highly recommend, and this is, this man is truly an inspiration to me. And when I got started, I watched pretty much all the videos that he had, because Andreas Antonopoulos is a computer genius. And when he talks about the early stages of Bitcoin, he ridiculed it. He thought it was, what, in his words, nerd money. That's what he called it. It was nerd money. But he kept hearing about it, and what he decided to do is he picked up the white paper, the 9 pages, and he started to read it. And in his lecture, he's talking about, for the next 6 months, he literally locked himself in a room and read everything that he could get his hands on about the blockchain technology. He lost like 26 pounds in the process. And now he is what I would call the global ambassador to Bitcoin and to blockchain. He's an incredible spokesperson. He's got a great sense of humor. He is in demand all over the world to speak because of his knowledge on blockchain and the Bitcoin technology. And I highly recommend that if you're taking notes, go to YouTube and just type in Andreas Antonopoulos and look at some of the videos that he has. It'll give you a thorough understanding about what we have in our hands here and where it's going, and to why it's going to be 10,000 of Bitcoin, why it's going to be 100,000, 500,000 per Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, people aren't saying that's just because they want to make themselves look smart. It's economics, it's supply and demand. And at 20 billion, it's in its infancy. As its market value, it's going to be worth 10 times that in just the next 2 to 3 years. This is the time that you want to be involved with this space. So you can get very, very excited about this. You don't have to be looking over your shoulder thinking, you know, what happens, you know, if this doesn't work. This is not going to go away. So he wrote a book called The Internet of Money, which is very well done. And then the other book that he has that I got from Amazon is Mastering Bitcoin. So unlocking digital cryptocurrencies. If you want to start to sound like a little bit of an authority, or at least have a better understanding as to what you have, then it becomes a matter of we're sharing information, we're paying it forward, because sooner or later, everybody on planet Earth is going to have Bitcoin or a fraction of Bitcoin, just like they have currency in their wallet or coins in their pocket, they're going to have Bitcoin. So, you know, why not get involved now and literally earn and accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible? So in setting up today's presentation and our training, I wanted to go back in history a little bit and find some famous quotes, because I'm a person that really likes to keep things simple. I think if there was a talent or a gift that I could identify for myself, and everybody has one, by the way. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't tell jokes very good. I laugh at my own jokes before I get to the punchline, so I ruin it for everybody. But, you know, I think that I have the ability to take something that is somewhat complex and make it simple. And Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain to a 6-year-old, then you don't understand it yourself. You have to be able to explain Bitcoin to somebody, not the technical side and not the blockchain technology and how the miners make money and getting all into this. You got to be able to explain it so a 6-year-old can understand it. And if you can get to that point congratulations, because you're going to have to peel back layers and start all over again and say, how would I approach a 6-year-old if I was going to talk to him about Bitcoin? Okay, all the rest of it is just fluff. Here's another one. Any fool can make something complicated. It takes a genius to make it simple. Now, I'm not calling myself a genius because I said that I have a gift of being able to make it simple. I just feel like I have a gift in being able to share it with people to where they get it, all right? Anybody can make something complicated, and most of the people I talk to, I got to tell you something, you're making this a lot more complicated than it really needs to be. And as soon as you can simplify it and peel back the layers and pretend like you're talking to a 6-year-old, then you are going to excel at this very, very rapidly. And the last one from Martin Luther King Jr., one of my favorites, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, you are going to have people tell you that this is a Ponzi scheme, that it's going to go down, that, you know, it's just a money game. You're going to hear all that, and I'm going to address that at the end of this call because I'm going to give you some ammunition, okay? But let me tell you something. It's the people that can stand in the wind of controversy that are the ones that are going to win. When the people first got involved with Bitcoins back in 2010, people thought it was a Ponzi scheme and a money game back then. Let me tell you something. Everybody's got an opinion. God bless them. It doesn't mean that they're right, okay? So I'm going to share some things with you at the end of this thing that I think is going to really help you as we go forward in this. The only thing I have is just a little bit more confidence and a mindset that nobody is going to be able to take this away from me personally. All right. So I'm just trying to help you get the right mindset. All right. So now that we've had a little bit of fun today, I want to talk to you about some sound bites. Okay. First of all, never answer a question which can be located in the back office. You do not want to be Mr. or Mrs. Bitcoin. You do not want to be Mr. or Mrs. Google. I can't tell you how many people are sending me emails about questions that they can pick up into the back office if they would just be willing to log in and look for themselves. Unfortunately, sometimes we live in a society where everybody wants the information handed to them and spoon-fed to them. And what you want to do in this business is very simple, is to create independence, not dependence. I got to tell you just a real quick story. I signed up a really good friend of mine over the weekend, and as a person that when I first approached him and I asked him if he knew about Bitcoin, if he was up to speed on it, he just said, no, I'm not interested in that. And I just didn't say anything else, you know, I just let it go. We just had lunch. Well, I wasn't going to let that drop, right? I just was testing the water. I wasn't going to try to sell or convince him. So 2 weeks go by and I just said, you remember that day we had lunch and I asked you if you knew about Bitcoin? He goes, yeah. And he goes, why? And I go, well, I just want to kind of share with you what's happened to me. And I just pulled out my blockchain wallet and I opened it up and I said, here's what I'm making per day now. And his eyes just, his mouth, I could just see his mouth just open. He goes, what? I said, well, you know, I asked you 2 weeks ago if you were interested or you knew anything about Bitcoin. You just, you know, shrugged it off and like I'd almost offended you by asking you that question. And I just wanted to let you know that, you know, I found an opportunity here with Bitcoin that's unlike anything I've ever done before. And look what's happened to me. And immediately I got his attention, you know. But what was interesting is that when I walked him through the process and I showed him that the first thing he'd need to do is set up his blockchain wallet. The second thing he'd need to do is set up an account with an exchange. He didn't even hesitate. He did exactly those steps. And guess what? The first person that he brought in, he walked him through the same process. Showed him, first of all, how to set up their blockchain wallet. Not that he signed him up in Gladiacoin. He was preparing them because how can you sign up in Gladiacoin and pay for your package if you don't have any Bitcoin? So the next step he did, he helped them set up his exchange account so he could buy Bitcoin. Did he do it that day? Yes. He registered, uploaded all the information. He bought the coin the next day. If people want this bad enough, they're going to find the way to do it. Okay? That is creating independence. Do not be the focus where people are going to be calling you for everything. Okay? Have them take the initiative. Have them take ownership for their business. I'm not trying to browbeat you. I'm just trying to really help you to gain strength because I do not babysit people. If somebody asks me a question and I know it's in the back office, I know they haven't even taken the time to log in and look. And guess what? Right away, I lose respect. I go, they're not serious. If they were serious, they would have read every single word, opened every single window in that back office to learn about what we have here in front of us. Okay? So that is how you tell the difference if you have a winner or if you have somebody that's just expecting somebody to hand it to you. LeBron James, when the Cavaliers came back last year from being down 3-1, he had a hat on that says RWTW. And I had to look that up. I go, what does that mean on his hat? It just said, roll with the winners. And I'm like, right on, okay? So what I'm going to do with you here today is I'm going to go into the back office like I did here. And when you go into your dashboard, if you scroll to the bottom, it has useful information. I call this like the frequently asked questions. And if the person that you have enrolled has not gone through and read every one of these, and then they call you up and they go, I haven't gotten paid today. What's going on? This thing's a scam. It's a money game. What happened? Then you're going to know they didn't read this, okay? I can't tell you how many people panic if one day goes by and they haven't gotten a deposit into their blockchain wallet and they don't even know that they got to have 0.03 Bitcoin for that to happen. And they panic, okay? Well, I know one thing. That's only $39, by the way, and it only tells me that they started probably with Spartacus 2 or Spartacus 3, so they got maybe, what, $150, less than $200 in the program, and they're panicking already, okay? Mindset, ladies and gentlemen, deal strength. All right, so we're going to go through the useful information here. I know this is going to be a little bit boring, but guess what? I'm going to make sure the 86 people plus that are on this call have at least gone through this with me, because I know it. We're here together. All right, let's look at one at a time. Our time zone. The servers are located in Singapore. So what you need to do is if you're in the middle of signing somebody up and it goes into the maintenance mode and all of a sudden you've lost that person signing up, guess what? That was your fault. You need to put into your world clock on your phone exactly when the servers are going to shut down for 20 minutes while they calculate the daily bonuses. Here for me in Bangkok, it's 11 o'clock at night. I do not attempt to sign anybody up at 11 o'clock at night, my time, which would be 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Coast time in the United States for that window. I've disciplined myself. Even if they're anxious to join, I say, let's hold off here for a few minutes until the system comes back online because they're calculating the commissions, okay? Next one, how about the trader bonus? The trader bonus is responsible for doubling your Bitcoin in 90 days, and in order to receive it, look at that, you must have contracted with the Spartacus 2 plan or above. Now look at this. It's processed daily between 1 a.m. and 1:15. Usually it's only 15 to 20 minutes, which is true. And you can check it in your account through the menu of financial, all right? Which just simply means this. If you want to know how much Bitcoin that you have coming in immediately after they do the run, because it's going to take about 3 hours for it to actually end up in your wallet. And that's through the blockchain system for verification. That's not Gladiacoin, okay? So you'll be able to log into your back office, click on financial, scroll down to statement, and there it'll be for you, right there. It's going to tell you exactly how much Bitcoin you have coming. All right, let's look at the binary bonus. People of all plans, that's Spartacus 1 to Spartacus 7, are entitled to receive the binary bonus. The bonus is calculated by multiplying the points of your lower leg by the binary percentage from your contracted plan. And the points paid are discounted from both legs, okay? What that simply means, it's like a balanced binary in a sense. You've got different kinds of binaries. You got like 1/3, 2/3, and some say, you know, when you have 500 points on one and 500 on the other, then it pays. This is a very simple binary. As long as you have 2 teams, which you need to qualify for, as long as you have personally enrolled 2 people. Some people are showing me that they're still not qualified when what happened is their upline sponsored somebody and their position fell directly beneath them before they could sign somebody up and they think they're qualified. Well, you didn't personally enroll them. The computer knows every time. So what it does is it subtracts the equal volume from the volume of the lesser team every time you get a binary bonus. So in other words, let's say that on team A, you have, and it's to the left, you have 10 Bitcoin. And on team B, you have 15 Bitcoin, okay? So you're gonna get paid anywhere from 5% to 15% on the 10 Bitcoin, which would be in your left team, that'd be your lesser leg. So it would subtract the 10 Bitcoin from your right leg, which you had 15. So what will happen? Your left team the next day will have 0 Bitcoin volume. The right team will have 5. Okay? What you don't get paid on carries over instantly the next day. All right. Mike, if you get any questions about that, let me know. I'll take a break here in just a second if people have questions as we're going through here, okay? Thank you.
Sure will.
Okay, let's look at the value and withdrawal processing. This is the most important piece of information that you're going to get on this training. Withdrawals are automatically processed as long as you have a receivable value greater than 0.03. That's not 0.03, ladies and gentlemen, because I've seen that. People call up, they panic. Oh, I haven't gotten paid. I got 0.03. Send me a snapshot of your statement. Let me see it, because you would be the very first person that I've talked to in 6 weeks that happened to. And sure enough, there it is, 0.003. Oh, okay. They get it now. Let's move on. And also have a valid Bitcoin wallet registered. I can't tell you how many people have yet to register their Bitcoin wallet. It's an address. You just copy and paste it. It's in your back office. And without that, how can the company pay you? So they will hold those commissions or daily trading bonus in the back office. They're just waiting for you to put the wallet address in there so they can send it to your wallet. And by the way, don't worry if your wallet address keeps changing on you. Every time you make a request to receive Bitcoin, it changes the address in your wallet. Your wallet ID remains permanent, but you can have many, 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 many addresses. That way you don't ever receive too much Bitcoin to one address, okay? It's a safety procedure there. But don't worry if you have the original address and it's changed multiple times since then because you've requested money from other sources. Don't worry. I mean, it'll keep track of that. It'll still go into your wallet. All right, so let's move on there. The values below this limit, read this, or the absence of registered Bitcoin wallet causes the value being accumulated in your account. Withdrawal values are processed every day at the same time between 1 a.m., 1:15 Singapore time, posted to your account with the status processing, which you can check through the financial and the withdrawals menu, okay? After identifying the amount you're entitled to receive, the amount is deposited into your Bitcoin wallet until 6 a.m. the next day. Okay, so that's normally how long that it takes. You know, once you're entitled to receive it, it's going to show up in your blockchain wallet by 6 the next morning. That's why, at least for me, I wake up every day and I got the SMS message, I've gotten paid. But the most important thing for you to know and for you to teach your team so that nobody panics is unless they get 0.03 in Bitcoin, it is not going to automatically deposit into their blockchain wallet. You have to understand that. So let's go through position by position so that you can get a better grasp on this, okay? Mike, does it sound like I'm yelling at people? I don't want them to think I'm yelling at them. I'm not mad.
Not at all, buddy. Not at all.
Okay. All right, good. All right. Let's call it animated. All right. All right. Let's look at Spartacus 2. I got 2 more. All right. Spartacus 2 is 0.10 Bitcoin. All right. So let's look at Spartacus 2, for example, because many people start that. So you got 0.10 Bitcoin. And then what you want to do is you multiply that by 2.2% because that's the daily trading bonus that you're going to receive on 0.10 Bitcoin. So ladies and gentlemen, look what that amount is. It's 0.0022 Bitcoin per day. So what that means is that the automatic deposit will happen, look at that, once every 14 days. If you started at Spartacus 2, do not expect to see any Bitcoin coming into your blockchain wallet for at least 14 days. Why is that? Because look at 14 days times 0.0022 equals 0.03. 0.03 is the key. So if you have people on your team that start at Spartacus 2 and they call you up and they're going, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme, I didn't get paid, it's a money game, see, I told you on their statement. When you start to hear this, just basically just do that with the phone, get their attention. Hello, Let's go back and let's read the frequently asked questions and just show them and explain to them again. It's 0.03, and it's going to take 14 days. Have them log into their back office in their statement. It will accumulate every single day, and they're going to be able to see that accumulation. Okay? Does that make sense? Very good. Let's move on to Spartacus 3. At Spartacus 3, that is 0.30 Bitcoin. So if you take 0.30, multiply that by 2.2%, and don't forget to hit the equal button, ladies and gentlemen, because it'll be a different answer, all right? That is 0.0066 Bitcoin per day. So what that means is your deposit is going to take place once every 5 days. So if you started at Spartacus 3, just know that once every 5 days is when you're going to receive Bitcoin coming into your blockchain wallet. 5 times 0.0066 equals 0.03. That 0.03 is the magic number, all right? So this is how you want to train the people that you're bringing on board, is to help them to understand the process. Remember, you can log in anytime and pull up the statement and see the daily accumulation of your Bitcoin in the wallet, but until it hits 0.03, which is approximately $39 US in total trader bonus income, it will not automatically deposit, okay? Let's go to Spartacus 4. That is 0.50 Bitcoin. You'd think that at this level, which is a half a Bitcoin, that you'd be getting daily deposits, but you're not. I mean, look at this. 0.50 Bitcoin times 2.2% on the daily trader bonus is 0.011 Bitcoin per day. Guess what? Your deposit is going to happen once every 3 days. So approximately how many deposits are you going to get per month? 10, right? So you got, 3 times 0.011 is 0.033 Bitcoin. Again, that 0.03 is the key that we're looking for. So you can see with none of these packages on Spartacus 2, 3, or 4, are you seeing any type of daily Bitcoin coming into their blockchain wallet. Make sure that they understand this when they come in, and you will save yourself a lot of aggravation. All right? We're in this to have fun. All right, let's look at Spartacus 5. You'd think even here, which I call the top tier, with 1 Bitcoin in the system, that surely with 1 Bitcoin, you'd be receiving your daily trader bonus on a daily basis, but you're not. At Spartacus 5, at 1 Bitcoin times 2.2% on the daily trader bonus is 0.022 Bitcoin per day. That means that your deposit is going to take place, ladies and gentlemen, once every 2 days. So every 2 days is when it's going to fund directly into your blockchain wallet. And you can see there, oops, I put in too many zeros there. I'll correct that slide. 0.022, and you multiply that times the 2 days, and that would be 0.044, which is going to come into your blockchain wallet, okay? So let's go to Spartacus 6. This is the one that is the first package that you can buy that is going to pay daily Bitcoin into your blockchain wallet based on the daily trader bonus. At Spartacus 6, that's 2 Bitcoin. 2 Bitcoin at 2.2% is 0.044 Bitcoin per day, which is about $50 US. Oh, it's more than that now. I lose track because it just keeps going up. But at any rate, at here, the deposit is made daily. So if you started with Spartacus 6 today, and as a matter of fact, I mean, I think we got like an hour left. If you started like right now at Spartacus 6 and you were able to fund that tonight, or today in about an hour and a half, you'd actually see this come into your blockchain wallet. It's that quick. So if you want to see daily results, you need to start at Spartacus 6 with 2 Bitcoin. Okay, let's get to Spartacus 7. That will be the last of the packages here. And at Spartacus 7, that's 4 Bitcoin, 2.2% per day, 0.088. That's over $100+. I mean, it's closer to like 130 or something, I believe. And again, this is an automatic deposit that is paid daily. So the only 2 packages that you can start with where you're going to see daily Bitcoin coming into your blockchain wallet is Spartacus 6 and Spartacus 7. Okay. So when I first started, I didn't get my daily trading bonus my first day. I got it my second day, but not my first day. because that's where I started, but I did get my binary bonus. And because my binary bonus pushed it over 0.03, I got paid on both. So your binary bonus does contribute to that 0.03. It's not separate. They put both together, in case you want to know that question. All right. Mike, are there any questions on what I've covered with this part so far?
Let me check again. One might be coming in right now. Let's see. Awesome. Can you put the screen up for the Spartacus one?
No.
No.
Because Spartacus 1 doesn't double in 90 days. What I'm trying to show you is, what I'm showing you right here is the daily trading bonus, but you can earn the binary bonus.
Okay. Kelly, he's funny. He says, keep yelling.
Keep yelling.
It needs to be said just like you're saying it.
I guarantee you won't need coffee after you hear me talking. You know?
Good job, Kelly.
You know, my wife is Thai, and she's not used to our American customs. You know how we get animated and we're very independent. And so when I talk like this, she thought I was yelling at her, and I could see tears coming down her face. I go, no, hon, I'm not yelling. I'm just animated. You know, I talk with my hands. My voice goes up. Okay. At any rate, this is invaluable information for you, because I'm sure that there are many of you that are on here going, you know, this happened to me, and I've got people who are calling me up, and that's because they just don't understand this part of it. All right. Everybody's going to get the trader bonus as long as they come in with Spartacus 2, but that doesn't mean they're going to get paid on it every day. So that's why you really need to understand this information. I am recording this. I'll throw it up on the archives as soon as I'm done. And then you can have your team refer to it. And I got to tell you something. Make this simple for yourself. Use the tools to do the talking, so you don't have to put all these programs together and write the PowerPoint and what you want to say and everything. We're trying to make these tools for you to make it simpler for you to be able to do your business, so you can focus on one thing. That's just getting the word out. Getting the word out, accumulate Bitcoin. All right, let's move on. This scheduled maintenance between 1 a.m. 1:15 a.m. That's Singapore time. So please put Singapore in your phone. Put an alarm for it to go off every day if you can. It goes into scheduled maintenance at this time. The website, they're not going out of business. I mean, people panic over the least little thing, okay? You'll see the sign comes up, and they go into their maintenance for about 15 to 20 minutes. Rest assured that no data or planned payment processing will be affected. Obviously, they're trying to soften the blow when people come and they see that the website is under maintenance. And you know when this really happens, when people panic, is they're in the middle of signing somebody up, and then boom, this happens. That's why hopefully that you will avoid this now in the future and work around the parameters, okay? So next thing, what happens when you double your Bitcoin? How many people have you get this question? And guess what? Where's it located, Mike?
In their back office.
Isn't that amazing? It's right there in front of you if people just take the time to read it. Okay, what happens when you double your Bitcoin? When you reach 100% in the progress bar, that is double the value of your Bitcoins, your contract is automatically terminated, and you must make a new purchase at the same amount as the current one to start a new cycle. Okay, so what that means is this. If you started at Spartacus 5, then you've got to renew at least Spartacus 5. You can upgrade if you want to, but you cannot start lower than the contract that you just fulfilled. Okay, you got to start at least that contract level and above. Okay, you have to make that purchase within 24 hours. And what happens in 24 hours if you don't renew, then you don't lose the overage on the binary, and you would lose the points that you have that you've accumulated. And let me tell you how important that is. Just yesterday, the day before, I maxed out again. And what it did is I was at like 98% the day before. So it didn't take much to push it to 100. And so I had like 3 Bitcoins left over, because, it can't pay me more than that. And you think, well, what's going to happen to the 3 Bitcoins I didn't get paid on? You talk about a company that is fair. Let me tell you something. They didn't just say, well, thank you very much, you hit 100%, and the 3 Bitcoins, that we're not going to pay you on that. You're not entitled to it. They paid me on that. The very next day, as soon as I renewed, the 3 Bitcoin I didn't get paid on carried over immediately. And so I got paid on the 3 Bitcoin that I didn't receive, plus the new Bitcoin. And, that to me that's a generous company. That's not one that's looking to make a quick dollar every way they can. I mean, look at some of the companies. They're charging for fees for their website, fees if you take money out, monthly auto ship, maintenance and titles and all this other crud, this excess baggage. And this is so clean. This is like so beautiful. It's almost just like Satoshi Nakamoto wrote this plan for us. Okay. Maybe he did. I mean, since we don't know who the owners are, it could have been him. Who knows? At any rate, you will be warned in your dashboard, which you definitely will. I mean, there's it's not a red flag, but it's pretty much close to like, the siren, going off that you've got that time, and you've got 1 day to make a new purchase. Otherwise, the binary points and accumulated values will be permanently lost. It's important to know that this doubling can occur in up to 90 days or a shorter time. Let me stop here for a moment. The important thing to realize today, ladies and gentlemen, is that the 2.2% daily trading bonus does not compound. It's 2.2% per day. That's it. Okay, it's a fixed figure. However, the objective is to double your Bitcoin. If you started with 1, the objective is to double 2. So the worst case scenario is that you're entirely passive, which means it would take 90 days for you to double your Bitcoin. All right. However, if you decide that you want to recommend this program to some other people, and you enroll 1 person left, 1 person right, and all of a sudden some people start to, buy packages and they start recommending it to other people, and they're accumulating Bitcoin, all of a sudden you're getting binary commissions. Those binary commissions count towards the doubling of your 1 Bitcoin. So it can happen a lot faster than 90 days because it's taking into consideration both areas of income. It's really important you get that. They're not separating that out. Some people think, okay, well, is it separate? I get my binary commissions on top of my trading bonus? No, it's together, okay? Together means the combination of your binary bonus plus your daily trading bonus goes towards the doubling of your Bitcoin. Mike, is there any questions on that?
Yes, there is. Here's a question. If a person, once they hit 100% and they decide not to renew that, what happens to in your tree? What happens to that position that's in your tree?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it's not like one of those marketing plans to where you have roll up, somebody leaves the system, then you have like roll up and compression. Basically you lose your points. You're not losing your position in the tree. You're just losing all the points that you've accumulated up to that point. If you want to go back in and start all over again a few days later, you start at 0-0 basically. I mean, you've got your group there, but you're going to be starting with all new points. That makes sense, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely it does. Okay, here's another one. Can you
now listen, I don't have any accounts. I'm going to let 1 account go at 90 days. I'm still waiting for that to happen. You remember I made my mistake when I first joined with 1 Bitcoin. I joined under the wrong sponsor. they don't even know. I don't even know who they are. But I'm getting my daily trading bonus. Of course, I'm going to let that account terminate, or I'm not going to say terminate, cancel. So I'll let you know in 90 days. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Can you discuss whether it is better to upgrade before you hit 100% on every plan lower than Spartacus 7 because of just paying the difference as opposed to paying for the current plan over again? That is what I have been recommending.
It's a great recommendation, by the way. Who asked that question?
That was Kelly. Yeah, Kelly.
That was Kelly. Great question, Kelly. When I got to when I upgraded to Spartacus 2, I knew that I had to renew with 2 Bitcoin, and I'm like, well, why would I want to renew with 2 Bitcoin and start all over again at Spartacus 6? Why don't I take the 2 Bitcoin and upgrade to Spartacus 7? And that's what I did. And what happened was my progress bar went from 98% down to 40-something%, because instead of doubling 1 Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, instead of doubling 2 Bitcoin, now I was doubling 4 Bitcoin. So the total that I'd be receiving was, basically half of what I'd already qualified for. So my progress bar dropped by 50%. And I got the increase in the binary bonus and also on the daily trader bonus. So I highly recommend, if you're gonna renew, that's the time to upgrade, and then it just prolongs the progress bar. It's not a new contract, it just prolongs it. Did I answer that, Mike?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, a great question. Did Kelly tell you what package he has right now and what he wants to upgrade to?
I believe he's at the 4. He's got other positions though that he might be talking about.
Okay. I mean, it was a great, really smart move for me. And again, ladies and nobody really coached me on that. I just kind of did it as a thought. I'm thinking, well, what's going to happen? So, for the first time, I really didn't know what to expect. And so when I went from Spartacus 6 to Spartacus 7, I'm like, wow, it's like now the Bitcoin increased from 4 to 8. And so my progress bar dropped from, like 98%, dropped down to 49%. Because I had already been paid, at that point, nearly 4 Bitcoin. Okay, so now I was going to get paid on 8. So I didn't start over at 0 on my progress bar is what I'm trying to say. So the system is really smart, really smart.
Right. Now, what happens if a person don't renew? Do they lose what they have earned?
No, of course not. That's in your wallet. I mean, nobody's going to come knocking on your door and say, let me see your blockchain wallet. Give me that money back. No, of course not. You're going to be entitled to everything that you've earned up to that point. Because remember, if your contract is complete, you've already been paid the Bitcoin. It's gone into your blockchain wallet, 100% of it. So if you signed up for maybe 1 Bitcoin when you first got started on that package, and you got 2 Bitcoin, you've already been paid your 2 Bitcoin. You're just deciding that you don't want to renew for an additional 90 days. And the smart thing to do is always discipline yourself on how you're spending your Bitcoin. It's going to be difficult because you see that all coming in, but into your wallet. But don't make the mistake that you can spend everything that comes in there. I discipline myself to only spend 50% of what comes into my wallet because I know that once that hits 100%, it can happen very quickly. I don't want to be rushing, especially the time that it's taken sometimes through the blockchain verification process, to be sweating bullets hoping that I got enough coin in my wallet to pay when it's time to renew. I don't want to be watching the clock tick down to my last 5 minutes and then lose everything that I built. No way. So discipline yourself to only spend 50% of what comes into your wallet and you'll be fine.
Okay, Rick, are you going to discuss strategies for multiple positions with minimum budget restraints?
I've already got a video of that on the website. I changed the labeling on it. I did have 700 a day in Bitcoin in 9 months, and I changed it to like 858 because the price just jumped up so much. But I show step by step how to go from 0 to over $850 per day, starting with 4.3 Bitcoin, 4.3, and how you can basically take your bonuses, both binary and trader bonus, into funding your accounts up to Spartacus 7 without ever coming out of pocket. It's a great video and a great strategy, even for somebody that's passive. Can you imagine 800 a day passively? Well, let's say 400 because you're gonna take half of that money and you're gonna put it back to renew. Let's say half of that per day. 400 per day times 7. That's $2,800 a week. Well over $10,000 a month, ladies and gentlemen. Passive income on 7 accounts funded at Spartacus 7, and you only came out of pocket initially 4.3 Bitcoin. Give me that deal all day long. Okay, can I move on, Mike?
Yeah, I know that the binary pays on the lesser leg. What if the lesser leg never catches up with the, they put 51 points on the greater leg? Does that accumulation just sit there for you?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, remember, you're getting paid the binary bonus on a daily basis. So, you want to be in a position to where you can never really catch up on your stronger leg. I mean, that's okay, because then you can focus on only building one side, which is going to be your lesser team. Just keep working with the people in your group and you're going to find it, because what happens, like my friend the other day, he thought that he's going to have to run extensive campaigns for advertising, do Facebook and do texting. And I just kind of let him, what I call, puke it out. Okay. And I'm laughing because, he's trying to bring in his old network marketing mindset into this, which is not a network marketing mindset at all. This is Bitcoin. And so what happens is totally different with Gladiacoin than any other company. And here's why. somebody might want to start small because they just want to test the water. And I go, that's great. Come in with what you feel comfortable. Just put in enough to where it's worth your time, and they'll do that. And after they get like their first or second deposit coming into their blockchain wallet, it's like, for some reason, it's like a switch comes on and they're like, bing, they get it. And they're going, oh my gosh, if I increase this and go from Spartacus 5 to 6, here's how much I can make. And they're pulling out their calculator. Some of them have never done percentages like this before, but they're figuring it out real quick, let me tell you. And their objective right away is to get up to Spartacus 7. Why? Because then they're making well over $100 a day passively. Okay, they're going to figure out how to do it. And guess what? Every time anybody in your group, they upgrade to a package, guess what happens? That's new money that's coming into the system. You get paid on the binary bonus on that, okay, every time. And now all of a sudden, their defenses fall completely because now they see results. That's all people want. They just want to see results. And the next thing you know it, here's the person that says, I'm never going to talk to anybody. And, they're rude. I'm not going to talk to anybody. But no. And I say, okay, I let them spill it out. No worries. But man, when they start seeing that Bitcoin coming into their wallet, and they can see that it works, and they can log in their back office and see the statement. Next thing you know, they're calling me up on the phone with a three-way call. Hey, can you talk to this person? Can you talk to that person? I'm like, I thought you didn't want to talk to anybody. And they're like, shut up, Rick. Can you talk to them? And they're just so fired up because they're anxious to get this in front of people because they're having success. And you're going to watch this happen. And I tell people all the time, look, I just gave this a little push. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I had the confidence it was going to work. I just didn't know how fast it was going to work. I gave this a little push, and I got an avalanche back in activity. I mean, you saw what happened to me. Over 3,000 in Bitcoin my first week with no tools whatsoever, just talking to people, okay? And so that's what you have happen here. And so with this, it's a totally different mindset, and you're going to attract a lot more people than you think is ever possible because they're going to have results. I think if I was to open up the mic here and let you talk to people who've been in for the last week or two, they're going to attest to that, okay? It doesn't take a lot to make this thing work. So don't worry about, if I'm never going to catch up to my strong leg. I don't even pay attention to my strong leg. I'm only focused on the leg that I'm working, and I'm working with the people in my team, and I'm helping them to get results, and I'm training them. I'm helping them become independent. I'm helping them to get their blockchain wallet set up. I'm helping them to get their account set up at the exchange so they can buy Bitcoin. Then they understand the process. I'm doing the little things like that, but then I'm getting out of their way. Who can we talk to next? Who do you know that wants to make some Bitcoin?
All right. Also, Rick, Scott wanted to mention about the little guy, saying that there's nothing wrong with starting with one position. Some people are thinking that they need to start with multiple accounts. And it confuses some and makes them think that they can't do it. So Scott wanted me to mention that.
Yeah, I agree with Scott. I was actually contemplating that today. I think I'm going to take out the last couple slides on my presentation because I agree with you on that, Scott. I think that if anything, I think it should be separated. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the presentation into two parts from now on. And then if they want to learn how they can create multiple accounts and they can go on the website, they won't have to even use the password to get that. I'm just going to put it up there. I agree. I don't want it to be complicated, and I think it does complicate the process. So I'm in agreement with that. And so I'm not going to bring that up on my future webinars, but I will let people know that they can earn from an additional 12 to 24 Bitcoin per day if they want to take advantage of a unique strategy. And then they can go to the presentation online to do that. So look, if somebody just wants to start with one account to get their foot in the water, they can always bring in other accounts later on. They might miss out on a few things, but I mean, it's okay. But listen, I'm all out for the little guy. I've heard that word so much, and I'm still looking for a little person. I haven't found him. I really don't know what that means, but I'm talking maybe for the person that just, financially they can only get started with a little bit and they want to take advantage and they don't want to feel like they're out of line. And so sometimes they'll say, well, I want to think about it. And the reason they're thinking about it is because it just looks too much for them. All right. So I'm in agreement with that. And so I'll do something about it.
Awesome. Okay. Here's another question, Rick. So to be clear, if I invest, for example, 2 Bitcoins and I get my daily deposits, and at the end of the 90 days, I received the 2 Bitcoins earned plus my initial investment of 2 Bitcoin, for a total of 4 if I do not renew, correct?
That's correct. 100%. That's what 90 days. If you were entirely passive and you started with 2 Bitcoin, in 90 days you got 4 Bitcoin into your blockchain wallet. You have 2 options at that point. If you just want to walk away from the program and you've doubled your Bitcoin, then listen, congratulations, right? And if you decide that you want to renew, then all you do is you'd put 2 Bitcoin in your pocket, which would be like your initial capital, for lack of better words. And then the 2 additional Bitcoin that you earned in your daily trader bonus, you can renew your contract for the next 90 days. And at the end of the next 90 days, guess what? You can pull the 2 Bitcoin out, put that in your pocket, which is pretty much house money. That's pure profit to you at that point. You've already got your initial investment back the first 90 days, and then you can continue on for another 90 days. Or what you could do, now you got 4 Bitcoin, you can say, you know what, maybe I want to upgrade to the Spartacus 7 and put all 4 Bitcoin that I've earned over the past 90 days into my next new contract, which you can do. But remember, you're getting Bitcoin paid directly into your blockchain wallet. You don't have to wait 90 days in order for that to take place. I have to reiterate, that's why I went over that one slide. You're either going to get paid every 14 days into your wallet, every 5 days, 3 days, 1 day, but you're going to be paid. At the end of 90 days, it will double the value of the Bitcoin, with the exception of Spartacus 1. Any other questions on that, Mike?
We're ready to roll, buddy. No more questions at this point.
All right, can I change my plan? Yes, you can. You can upgrade, but you can't downgrade, okay? So you can upgrade to any plan by only paying the difference. And I love this feature that Gladiacoin has. I mean, they really thought of everything. I mean, you know, I went through this with a fine-tooth comb before I met with John. I mean, I read every word on the website. I went through, clicked on every link. I mean, you name it. I was really trying to absorb as much as I could. I'm like, man, these guys really have done a great job on every aspect of this. And no way did they try to create unnecessary breakage to the company. The only breakage that I've been able to discover, ladies and gentlemen, is the breakage, you know, just going from the different positions, you know, or the different accounts from Spartacus 2 to Spartacus 3, the difference in the binary bonus, right? But the thing is, I mean, people can start right at Spartacus 7 at 15%, not leave any money on the table. That's why I'm really pushing towards, if people have the means to do that, Spartacus 7 is really where they want to get to as quickly as possible, either starting there or upgrading there through their earnings, okay? So you're only paying the difference, and you don't have to start with a brand new package. If you log into your back office and you're at Spartacus 5, for example, which is 1 Bitcoin, and you want to upgrade to Spartacus 6, which is 2, you just click on upgrade, and the drop-down menu will give you the option to either go to Spartacus 6 or Spartacus 7. And then you just pay for it, and once it gets verified, you're instantly promoted, for lack of better words, to Spartacus 6, and it means that you're immediately entitled to the binary bonus and the increase in the daily trader bonus. I love that about this company, that it's instant qualification. Does that make sense, Mike?
Yes, it does, sir.
All right, good.
Another question. If you upgrade, does your contract still run long enough to double your upgraded level or expire at the original 90-day date?
Okay, read that one more time for me. I want to make sure I'm trying to get into the head of the person who asked this question.
Okay, if you upgrade, does your contract still run long enough to double your upgraded level or expire at the original 90-day date?
Okay. Ask them if they have upgraded yet.
Okay, you just did.
That's right. What I want to know is if they've upgraded, because then they're going to be able to see for themselves exactly what I've been trying to explain. This is actually about the 3rd time that I've covered this same subject. So obviously I'm not making it very clear. So I need to do a better job then for me. Here's the answer to your question. If you are at Spartacus 6, for example, it doesn't matter which one you are. I'm just going to pick one because it's simple for me. Spartacus 6 is 2 Bitcoin. At the end of 90 days, Mike, how much do you get at Spartacus 6?
At 2 Bitcoins?
That's correct.
The percent? That'd be
No? What do you get? How many Bitcoin?
2 Bitcoin.
You get a total of 4, right?
A total of 4, yeah. Net.
Okay, and if you're passive, that's 90 days. You start with 2, you get 4, correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, let's say that you're 45 days into the program, okay, at Spartacus 2, you're going to get back 4 Bitcoin. How much Bitcoin have you been paid at the 45-day mark?
You got back 100% of your initial Bitcoin that you purchased.
That's correct, which is how many Bitcoin?
1. I mean, two.
Mike, you're fired.
2 Bitcoin. I'm looking at never mind.
Mike, you're fired. You're fired. Okay, let me start over again, ladies and gentlemen.
4, right?
Exactly. Okay. I'm not going to edit this out either, Mike. You're in trouble, dude.
You better.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really good exercise. So please write this down on pen and paper. All right. You're at Spartacus 6, and your contract is for 2 Bitcoin to turn into 4 Bitcoin in 90 days. Okay, 90 days. So at day 45, based on your daily trading bonus of 2.2%, you've received 2 Bitcoin back into your blockchain wallet. Your progress bar at that point is at 50%, correct? All right, you've received 2 Bitcoin. Now, let's say at that point you decide to upgrade. You want to go from Spartacus 6 to Spartacus 7. That means you're going to go put in an additional 2 Bitcoin, correct? All right. Now your contract is going to go from 4 to 8. So how many Bitcoin have you been paid so far, Mike, at 45 days?
I'm going to have to quit.
2 Bitcoin.
I'm going to have to quit answering my texts. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right. I'll answer for you, okay? I'm just going to like pretend to be mini-me.
No, I'm here now.
Okay, at 45 days, you've decided to upgrade from Spartacus 6. You're going to go from 2 Bitcoin to 4. At the end of that 90 days, that 4 is going to become 8, okay? So what we're looking at is that if you upgraded at day 45 and you decided, hey, you know what? I've got enough Bitcoin that I've earned. I've already earned this 2 Bitcoin. Instead of letting it go, I'm just going to take the 2 Bitcoin that I've earned so far that's in my blockchain wallet. I'm going to use that right now to upgrade to Spartacus 6. So what does it cost you? You put in 2 additional Bitcoin, right? Okay, so at this point, what's going to happen on the progress bar is what you're going to see change is the amount of Bitcoin that you now have been paid and the amount of Bitcoin that you're going to receive. It's going to change. Instead of it saying you've been paid 50% because you've received 2 Bitcoin, what's going to happen now is it's going to still say that you've been paid 2 Bitcoin, but you've got 6 Bitcoin to go. It's a total of 8 Bitcoin, okay? What's going to happen to your progress bar is it's going to drop down from 50% to 25%. It didn't start at 0 because you've already been paid 2 Bitcoin. I hope that you can understand that. You're just going to have to see that for yourself. It's not a brand new contract where you got another website. It's the same account. You're just changing the parameters of your account. You're saying, look, instead of paying me 4 Bitcoin, I want you to pay me 8 Bitcoin now. And as soon as you hit 8 Bitcoin, your contract is done. It doesn't mean it's a brand new 90 days. It's gonna drop it down from 50% to 25% because you basically increased the number of Bitcoin that you want to receive now. It's all done for you automatically. I don't know how to explain it any differently, Mike. If you've got a better way of doing it, I'm all ears.
No, you got it that time. I mean, yeah, hit it at every angle.
Okay, look at that. Bitcoin is here to stay. Look at what you could buy in the shopping cart there in 2012, 2013. Now this is with the same Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin, and look what you're going to be able to buy with 1 Bitcoin in the year 2020. So this is the time that you want to be accumulating Bitcoin as much as you possibly can. Gladiacoin is just simply the platform that will enable us to do that. Because if you were to go out and try to put 1 Bitcoin into the marketplace, you might be able to make a couple $100 here and there, but you're not going to be able to make a few $1,000s a day. It's impossible on 1 or 2 Bitcoin. But The fact is that we're pulling our Bitcoin together collectively means that the company has a lot more Bitcoin that they can trade. And with the drastic movements that you've seen in Bitcoin over just the past week, you know that these guys are making an absolute fortune. They're crushing the market right now. All right. Now, I promised you some goodies here at the end, and I've saved kind of like the best for last, but I wanted you guys to see what's going on in Japan. You're seeing Bitcoin everywhere. I mean, you know, I accept Bitcoin. I accept Bitcoin. I mean, now the merchants are pulling in customers because of the fact that they're now being able to offer the processing for Bitcoin in many places there in Japan. And this is what you're going to see all over the world. So let me have some fun with you here just for a moment. You know, how much coin is in your wallet. I like to kind of end the presentation with a little bit of humor. I still have one. Okay. Let me talk to you about a Ponzi scheme here for just a second. I like to hit things head on. I'm that kind of person. I actually wanted to do this about 2 weeks ago, but I held off. I just didn't feel like it was time, but I was biting my tongue. And so, you know, I would say out of 10 people I talk to, probably 5 of them say, well, you know, I've been on the internet and I've seen some of the reviews on Bitcoin, and I've watched some of the videos on Gladiacoin, pardon me, and they say it's a Ponzi scheme. What do you have to say about that? That's what they say. They're really on the defensive and they want to grill me, okay? And they're going to want to grill you too. And I just calmly asked them. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I've looked at some of the articles that those guys have written, and I said, you know, they've done a really good job. I said, you know, I know what it takes to put together a presentation. And I said, man, these guys probably spent a couple of hours writing these reviews. They're really good. And then I know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, they've got an entire marketing department. This is called a trap door. You're going to go there, and they know that there's a lot of eyeballs and a lot of searches going on for Gladiacoin. These guys are experts at marketing on the internet, and they basically love negative news because they know that negative news sells. And whether it's Gladiacoin or Herbalife or Amway or anybody, they've always got these trap doors set up for people that are wanting to get more information about the company. And the whole idea is that they want to funnel you in, capture your email to present you with another opportunity. Not any of these guys who have done the reviews have ever invested a single nickel into buying a package into Gladiacoin. How do they know about the system if they're not in it? There's nobody in Gladiacoin that is complaining because everybody's gotten paid, number one, okay? Here's the second thing. I mean, that's what I tell you. It's a trap door. You need to learn some of this terminology. It is a trap door designed to get you into their deal. And they do it with every single company. It's not just Gladiacoin. And they're really impressive, but they've got a company, and they've got these employees, and they do all the writing, the copy, and everything. And all they do is they just pull off the stuff from the website, so they look like they're an authority, but they're not. It's just a marketing scheme, a trapdoor. So when somebody says that this is a Ponzi scheme, very collectively, the first thing you need to do is you need to go up and you need to discover the definition of what a Ponzi is. And so I ask people now. And that's the first thing that they say. Well, you know, Rick, I think this is a Ponzi scheme. I say, well, let me ask you something. What is your definition of a Ponzi? And I wait for their explanation. And 9 times out of 10, they can't even give me an explanation. But they picked up this coin, this terminology, because they want to say the word Ponzi scheme, and they apply it to this. And I say, well, tell me what a Ponzi scheme is. And then they're going, well, you know, only the people who come in at the top get paid, and it's based on, you know, people coming in at the bottom, and that's their definition. So, you know, I went online and I researched it, and I came up with a definition. And, you know, you may have heard of, you know, Bernie Madoff there in New York, and he had all these high profile investors, you know, people like Steven Spielberg and what have you, putting millions of dollars, I might add, not for Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, not 0.1 Bitcoin, millions of dollars. Okay. Here's the definition of a Ponzi scheme, just so that you know. The initial group of investors come in, and then they're using that money to pay the second group of investors instead of it having like a real profit margin. And then the third group of investors come in to pay the second group, and so on. And then eventually it collapses because you can't bring in enough people. It happens every time. And I said, would that describe what a Ponzi scheme is to you? And all of a sudden they go, yeah, that's it. And I said, well, let me tell you how Gladiacoin is different. And they go, okay. And I said, let me tell you something. If today they decided to withdraw the referral bonus to where they were not accepting any new members, it would not slow down Gladiacoin one day. And they go, what do you mean? And I said, well, let me explain it to you. If I take out a package, let's say Spartacus 7, at the end of 90 days, I have been paid that money directly into my blockchain wallet. And if I was not allowed to refer anybody, I would continue to get that daily trading bonus of 2.2% for 90 days. And guess what? At the end of 90 days, I've got two options. I can decide not to participate and walk away, or I can decide that I want to participate for another 90 days. So let me ask you something, ladies and gentlemen. Where does the Bitcoin come from if I want to renew my contract for the next 90 days? Does it come from somebody that I brought to the table? Does it come from somebody else who's bringing Bitcoin into Gladiacoin? No. It's coming out of my blockchain wallet back into Gladiacoin. It's not new people, it's new money. That's the difference, okay? They could shut down the ability for somebody to recruit and build a team today, and it would not stop this company, not for 10 seconds. Because of the fact it is optional to renew, and if you do renew, it's not coming from another individual, it is coming from your Bitcoin wallet, your blockchain wallet back into Gladiacoin. It's not new people, but it is new money. It's the money that you have earned, okay? So when I explain it to them like that, they go, oh, that doesn't sound like a Ponzi. And I said, it isn't. You know, we don't care how many people join. That is optional to take advantage of this. So I'm hoping that I'm giving you some information. Don't be afraid to confront somebody head on when they ask you the question. Don't dive under a rock. I mean, say, well, give me your definition. Tell me what you think it is. And when you put it back on them like that, be prepared, because they're going to be drooling all over themselves. They're really not even going to have a clue. Most of the people don't know. They just heard. Well, I heard about this company. I heard about, well, that's them. That's not us. We're not Bernie Madoff. We're not asking people for millions of dollars and come in. I mean, we've got a product. It's Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out. Optional to bring people in. Mike, I just thought I'd throw that in just for good measure. I just kind of felt like sharing that with people.
Awesome, man. You needed to. That's fantastic, because like you said, out of every 10 people, I'll get 3, 4 of them that say that.
Yeah, every time. And so don't be bashful about that. I mean, just come back with strength. And the best thing to do is just go research, you know, the guy who they invented or named it after, or Mr. Ponzi himself. Yep. It's always dependent on new people coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We are not dependent on new people coming in at all. Not at all. Okay, Mike, listen, for those of you that joined us today, I just want to say thank you. I know it went in a little bit longer. I wanted to actually show you how to set up an account with an exchange. I had that all prepared today. There is one thing I want to leave you with, and that is, please go look up localbitcoins.com. We have people that are trying to establish accounts with exchanges. Some of them have very low minimums to get started with until you either verify more information or you have a little bit of a track record with them. It's been prohibitive. But if you go to Local Bitcoins, it's a great service to use to get out of the gate with, so that you can buy and even sell Bitcoin. And I've used them on many occasions. You set up an account. It's very easy to verify, first of all. And here's what you want to stay away from. I stay away from anybody that is trying to sell me or fund me through MoneyGram, through Western Union, or what was the other, Amazon gift cards. I'm only looking for the people that will do bank transfers. Now, here's the nice thing about Local Bitcoin that is refreshing. The thing is that you're able to rate the transaction, both for the buyer and the seller. And so I only look for people that got the highest ratings. I don't even deal with anybody that's less than 100% on that website. But here's the nice thing about it. Let's say that you want to buy Bitcoin. And first of all, you want to look at the rate. Different people have different rates, and they also have different quantities. Some will only sell less than a Bitcoin. So you want to make sure that when you type in the information there, you put in the parameters of what you're looking for. If you want like 2 Bitcoin and you hit enter, it will bring up a list of the people that are at least willing to sell 2 Bitcoin. Now, here's what's interesting is that when you make the request to buy 2 Bitcoin, and you've got a particular seller in mind, what will happen is this. You will tell them that you want to buy 1 Bitcoin, for example, and you have to go to the bank and actually fund their account. And they're going to give you that information. They're going to give you the name of the bank. They're going to give you the not necessarily a SWIFT code, but their account number. Sometimes you can do this online. If your bank does it, sometimes you can do it through the ATM machine, whatever, but it's going to give you a timer. I think it's about 85 minutes is the length of time that you have in order to make the transaction on your behalf. And you might be thinking, man, I'm sending this guy cash. What if I don't get my Bitcoin? Well, guess what happens? If he accepts your money, then right away the system of local Bitcoin will actually hold immediately 1 Bitcoin worth of value. So it is held up in escrow. So you have all the assurance in the world that you're going to get your Bitcoin, because as soon as he accepts your money, immediately the system grabs one of his Bitcoin. You have to have Bitcoin in your wallet in local Bitcoin. And I've used it multiple times, both to buy and to sell. And I've always had a fantastic relationship with the people that I've worked with. I give them really nice write-ups, and they also give me nice write-ups as a customer, which is great. So they know I'm real. So if I want to sell Bitcoin, I've shown you how to buy it. If I want to sell Bitcoin, I can also use them. I log into my back office, and I've got to have my 1 Bitcoin back there minimum in my wallet. So I find somebody who's got the best rate. I'm looking to see who's got the best rate, because obviously I'm going to look at the spot price for Bitcoin, and I go to CoinDesk, which is a great one to use because I really like their calculator. And so I know the spot price on Bitcoin. So when I log into my account on localbitcoin.com to sell my Bitcoin, I'm looking for somebody who's got the best absolute price that I can get. Once I identify that person, I select him, I click on his name, and he appears in my back office. And I say, here's my 1 Bitcoin. And basically, I give him my banking information. Again, I'm only looking for the people that do bank transfer. To give you an example, just the other day when I used it, the guy wanted to do ACH. And I'm thinking, okay, ACH, no problem. But then he tells me it's not going to get to my bank account until Monday. I'm like, no, I don't want it on Monday. I want it immediately. So I canceled the transaction, and it released my Bitcoin right away, okay? So I went to the next guy, and he said, yes, I do automatic bank deposits. And I said, great. So I agreed to work with him, and I gave him my bank account information. And he went to the bank and he put the money in. As soon as I said that I'm going to agree to do business with you, it grabbed my 1 Bitcoin from the system. It grabbed it, and it held on to it so that he knew that I had my Bitcoin already in play, and it was up to him to put that money in my account. And within 30 minutes, I literally got notification from my bank the money was there. It's like, I still don't know how he did it, but it was very, very fast. And once I did that, I just logged back into my account, and I hit a button that said release Bitcoin. And as soon as I hit release, it went immediately to him, but only when I got the money in my account. I gave him high ratings for his ethical business, how fast and professional he was. And, I will go back to this guy time and time again. So if you need to get Bitcoin in a hurry, instead of trying to wire money to me or to somebody else and having to pay the transaction fees, instead of having to pay the wire fees and the currency conversion fees, I highly recommend as an interim is to go to localbitcoins.com. I highly recommend them. If I didn't, I would say so. Okay. My voice is shot.
All right. Here's a legit question from Stephen. When we were talking about reviews and stuff, he said the reviews also say no one knows who owns or runs Gladiacoin because it's not listed. How should we respond to that? They say they could shut the system down and take our money. Should I just say next, or how do I respond?
Look, everything has risk to it. And, here's what I tell people who say that. I said, do you know who Satoshi Nakamoto is? And he's going to go, no. And I said, well, would that prevent you from buying Bitcoin? And it's like, hello? No, it wouldn't. Look, man, unfortunately in today's society, it's almost like you're guilty and you have to prove your innocence. It's kind of backwards. I applaud these guys for kind of keeping behind the scenes. I mean, I know that they registered their domain in the United States. I checked on that. No, I don't know who they are. Could they shut down anytime? Sure they could. But it's like, why would they? I mean, it's doing so well, right? they're only making improvements. I got wind through the grapevine that they're going to be setting up a support system here very soon, to where you could get tickets for, for emails if you had, some challenges. I heard that that's going to happen probably within 90 days. I got that from some very reliable sources. But, the thing is, these guys have a bullseye on their back. And the last thing that they want, probably like Satoshi Nakamoto, is, for every government, every person wants to take a pot shot at them, to bring them to light. And for me, I'm okay with it, but it's risk. There's no doubt. It's a calculated risk. And I say the same thing for everybody. Start small. Your money is only at risk for 45 days. That's it. What is, and I ask, have you ever been to Vegas? And they go, yeah, how much did you drop in a weekend in Vegas? A couple $1,000 easily. I say, well, can you afford to basically risk 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins? They go, yeah, I can do that. So find what their tolerance is and say, look, in 45 days, just know that you've earned enough from the system. At that point, you've got all your initial capital back. And if they still resist, I walk away and I say, look, it's probably just not for you. It's okay. It's for me, but it's not for you. I'm not afraid to say no to people instead of trying to, I don't have any sales, I don't have any closes. If I feel even 5% pressure, resistance, I back away immediately. I'm not out to try to convince somebody. Then I know I'm going to have a problem with this person every day for the next 90 days. They're going to be calling me, did I get paid? Did I get paid? They're the ones that have all the problems. I don't want that. I don't need the headaches. I'd rather have somebody like Mike and somebody like Scott and somebody like Lori who's on the call and what have you, who are really excited about this and they're having results. Those are the people I like to work with. So my suggestion is, if you can't afford the risk, don't sign up. Or sometimes I like to embarrass them. It just depends on what mood I'm in. I do it with a smile, of course. I say, look, can you start with Spartacus 1? It's only $60. Can you afford to risk that for the next 45 days? And then I laugh because I want them to realize, sometimes people need to hear their own words repeated back to them. So you get this. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I had this mindset from the first day. It's like, look, I know that this is going to work. I didn't have a problem with, I didn't know who the owners were, but I'll tell you, one of the most successful people on my team, I wish I could name him, but because I didn't get his permission, I'm not going to, but he came in, he says, until my lawyers meet with him, his lawyers, I mean, this guy is very rich. He says, my lawyers need to meet with their lawyers on a sit down. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm like next in my mind, right? And we just said, look, Glenn, there's no way that, we're going to be able to supply that information, but, look, thanks for taking a look with us and we wish you a lot of luck. And and I was, joking with Simon, I can see this meeting if it did take place, right? It'd be in the back of a car and everybody'd have these hoods on. So they're communicating, their lawyers and the owners behind Gladiacoin, and everybody's got a hood on, right? They're talking back and forth. We're kind of laughing about it. And because we didn't try to sell him or anything, 2 days later, this person calls back. And here's a person that said, I'm not going to get in until my attorneys meet their attorneys because I got high profile people and what have you, and they want to put a lot of money into this and until they know who the owners are, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, he calls back because we said, okay, well, there's really not much that we can do then. Thank you very much. But, we'll stay in touch with you. 2 days later, he calls back and he goes, I think I want to take a spot just to kind of see what happens. I'm like, okay, puts in 2 Bitcoin. 2 days later, he puts in 4 Bitcoin. Next thing we know it, he's bringing an army of people in because, he's getting results. He kept thinking about it, and he knows that this is Bitcoin. This is something he can actually touch. It's not like some of those companies that are out there that, have virtual coin that have no value in the market whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, to buy a package, you have to buy it with Bitcoin. And guess what you get funded in? You don't get a check. You don't get a company debit card. You get Bitcoin. And guess what, man? He's one of the most successful people in our organization. He came in totally, with the mindset that he was not going to join unless he got to meet all the owners. We just said, okay, next person, let's just keep going. Don't worry about the ones that give you the resistance. Just back away and have them start small, have them test the water. I mean, they can get started small and upgrade. It's entirely up to them. But always have this in the back of your mind. Your money is only at risk for 45 days. Can you take a calculated risk for that? If you can, great. And if not, then, hey, listen, I'm going to continue going on. It's working for me. And let me know if you change your mind. And it's funny, when you say no, it's like you push people back. It's like they want it even more. But the thing is, it's not a sales tactic. I'm just being myself. I'm just being honest. Whatever you say is not going to affect me at all. It's going to affect you, but it's not going to affect me. I mean, this is one of the best things that's happened in my life. And I mean, I'm happy to be part of this. I love this platform, and a lot of people on this call do as well. So yeah, you're going to deal with the people that are negative. And here's what I learned a long time ago. They're never going to build a statue to a critic. So if somebody wants to throw stones at us, that's okay. They threw stones at Bitcoin, 7 years ago, and guess what? It didn't break the house. This thing is only going to get stronger with him or without him. Mike, any other questions?
Well, there were, but we covered them. So no, right now.
I feel like I'm pouring like some gas on the fire, and look, I really don't mean to. It's when I talk about mindset, it's just making up your mind to do this. And your family is a lot more important than somebody else's opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, and with the internet today, everybody is an instant author, and everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. And anybody who's got a keyboard can say anything they want to. It doesn't mean that it's factual. I'm trying to give you the facts today, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Just to give you enough strength to where you can go on the next day and listen, pay off your house, pay off your debt, your credit card bills. You're plan that dream vacation. It's time to basically exercise your dream muscle again, and Gladiacoin is a platform for being able to exercise those dreams. And with that, Mike, I'll sit back here for a couple of minutes, and if there's any other closing questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, let me check. Here's one. If you have a few positions and you paid, do they add all positions lumped together?
No. Each account is separate. Now, what you can do is that you can put the same wallet address in each one of the accounts, which is what I did. I didn't put different wallets for each one. It'd be too confusing. I like simplicity. So all my accounts come into one wallet, but every account is different. I got different amounts in every wallet, and I keep track of that on an Excel spreadsheet so I know like when I need to check in. No, every account is separate. They don't lump them together. I mean, that's what's great about having, more than one account. Like if you have 3 accounts, for example, at Spartacus 7, you're getting the daily trading bonus on not one account, but all 3. That's the beautiful part about it. Mike, do you like that picture? It's raining. You see that, the faucet of Bitcoin?
That's awesome.
Yeah. How much is in your wallet? Isn't there a commercial like that? Capital One?
Yeah, there is. How much is in your wallet? That's right.
Yeah. What's in your wallet? Lots and lots of Bitcoin for everybody. There's so much to go around for everybody. That's what's great. And I got to tell you, I feel so great about all the people that are having success. I mean, we got a group in Europe going, and they're posting, they got paid 1 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin this week. And, it's changing, their outlook and their perspective. And it's great to see that burden being lifted off their shoulders, that financial burden that we've been carrying around, at least for me. Any other questions there, Mike?
Let's see. I love Gladiacoin. Great explanation. We're in one. Someone earned 1 cent on their savings in their savings account. They love Gladiacoin. No, I think we got everything.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, the other thing to think about, when somebody says, "Hey, there's no way that they can do that," I laugh. I'm thinking, that lady who just mentioned, I'm getting 1 cent on my savings account. The bank is using your money to basically loan out, and they're basically giving you next to nothing, peanuts pretty much, on your savings account, maybe 1% if you're lucky, right? What are they loaning that out to other people for? 15, 20% in some cases. And, so they're saying that we can't make 2.2% per day? And please. That's why I say become a student, get some information. I hope that you wrote down some of the books that I showed you in the beginning. It's fascinating reading. It just locks you into this incredible currency that we have a chance to participate in. Mike, I have taken up people's their Saturday, and I'm amazed. I really, I don't know. I feel very blessed that there's still 86 people on this call, and they didn't hang up on me when I got a little animated. So
Yeah.
That's all good.
Now, someone's asking, when will the recording of this be posted in the archives of the back office?
When do they want it to be posted?
Right away, yesterday, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. I mean, I'm going to have to edit out, some of the back part, but for the most part, I will work on that tonight, and it'll probably be done by the time you wake up. And oh, you are awake already. Geez, it'll be ready by tomorrow morning my time, so it'll be tonight your time.
Okay, great.
Is that fast enough for you? Because I just have to do a little bit of editing, then I'll put it right up there with the archive. And to get there, you need a password for this. This is just for accessible for the people in our team. If you're not in the team, then you got this version here that you got, but the recorded version access, it'll be in the website of Bitcoin Billions. That site right there.
Awesome.
I just had to tell them about the Ponzi tonight. I was just like, you know what? I'm saving this because I know they're hearing it. I can just kind of feel the pressure a little bit.
Right. Awesome.
It's time to let it rip. We had it's so funny, Mike. The other day we're talking to a guy in the UK, and I mean that's the first thing that he's hounding on, and I'm like, man, this guy's like really negative, But he was just trying to. Basically, he's just trying to break my back a little bit, and I'm just kind of letting him get the steam off. And after he's going on and on and on, ranting and raving, I just asked him a question. Well, give me your definition of a Ponzi. Let's hear what you had to say. It was nothing even close, right? And and when I took the time to like explain it to him that way, it was just like you could hear a pin drop on the floor. And it's like he got it. You know what I mean? And it's like that was the only thing is that he was just trying to throw my game off, but I was already prepared for it. And all I'm trying to do is prepare you for the curveballs that you're going to get. And so don't be afraid to take those questions on. I look forward to it. Actually, I have more fun with that than anything. So I hope that helps some people today.
Right. Now, here's one question on the Bitcoin in regards to the amount of Bitcoin that's going to be minted. Did you let me ask you that?
Well, that's the thing. The reason that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up is because it's like gold. It's going to be a rare commodity, and right now the reason that the price is going up is it's basic economics. It's supply and demand. And right now it is really in demand. But by the year 2140, and unfortunately for those of us on the call, probably not many of us are going to be around when the 21st million Bitcoin has been mined. Okay. Unfortunately, I wish that I could see that day, to be honest with you, but I'm not. The year is 2140. Right now, they're being released at the rate of 12.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So we'll be dealing in fractions of a Bitcoin. Remember, it can go back to 8 zeros, okay? So even if a Bitcoin is $500,000, you'll still be able to buy enough Bitcoin if you want to go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee, all right? So now is the time to accumulate because we feel almost positive within the next couple months or less, it's going to break 2,000 and then it's going to continue. So the sense of urgency that you have on this phone with the people that you're talking to, and they go, well, I want to think about it. Well, let me give you something to think about. If you would have signed up in April, the first part of April, you could have got in for about $1,000. And now it's over 1,000. It's close to 1,600 per Bitcoin. If you wait another couple of weeks, it's going to go up to 2,000. So would you like to lock in your account now, or do you want to wait until it's more expensive to join? So you can actually use that like in your presentation, and it's accurate because you can show them, just take them to the website and say, have you checked the price of Bitcoin lately? I mean, it's $400 more than an ounce of gold. It's crazy, man. I mean, I'll tell you, I want as much of this as I can possibly get my hands on. I hope everybody else does too, of course. That's why you're here.
Absolutely.
Mike, anything else so I can sign off and put my voice to rest for tonight?
I think we can, let's see, I sold my mutual funds, doubling in years. Okay, yep, that's it. Looks like just comments. We're good. Rest your voice.
All good. Hey, everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy your, what day is it there, Mike?
I don't know. I don't even know what month it is. Today.
I know I was talking to somebody today, and I was going to do something, and I kept putting April 10th, and they go, why do you keep sending me a message for April 10th? It's May something. I went, what? We're already in May? I didn't know we were in the month of May, honestly.
Saturday the 6th. Saturday the 5th.
No, this is crazy. Hey, welcome to the best. What can I say there? I don't want this to sound like fluff, but I got to tell you something. Welcome to one of the most rewarding opportunities that you're going to be a part of, maybe in your lifetime. Certainly for me. And we just welcome everybody who's joined our team for the first time. We got an incredible group of leaders that are all succeeding. Many of them are making multiples per week, and I'm talking in excess of 5 figures. I seem to be the low man on the totem pole, but you know what? I love it. I love seeing that people succeed at this, and I'm just one voice, and welcome. We hope to hear from more success stories, and please give Mike your information if you'd like to share your story on Monday. The only parameter that I have is that you have at least earned 1 Bitcoin, just 1 Bitcoin, okay? So share with us and tell us what's happened. So it just gives it a little bit more validity rather than just coming from me or one other person. So Mike, if they'll send that to you, then I will make them a participant. Not a person. What do you call it again? I know it begins with that little
Panelists.
Panelists. That's right. I can never remember that word.
Yeah,
okay.
neither, I get them. They're both P's. Yeah. So.
All right. Hey, listen, don't worry. We're going to edit all this part out, or I will, and we'll make it clean to where you can send your people there and you won't have all this chatter on the back end. But hey, thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. I appreciate it. And we'll be seeing you on Monday.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.